Okay, part two to the exotic propulsion and technologies, all that sort. So we started off at Nikola Tesla and Wardenclyffe and the asymmetry of plates resulting in a measurable force towards the smaller plate. And you see the charges on the top and the bottom, the positive and negative charges. All right, so Tesla from Wardenclyffe had a flying quote unquote saucer that would only operate under the power transmission of the giant Wardenclyffe, which operated as a Tesla coil, wireless energy. So, why is this important? It's important because we have the missing feature to how we make things levitate and fly in a vacuum of space, underwater, if it's shielded in a vacuum of space, if it's pressurized, and in the air, and at high altitudes, again, if it's pressurized. So, what do we do then? What do we do now? So, okay, so you have, now that we have that out the way, now, how do you make a quote unquote anti-gravity electrically charged craft? Well, remember you have two charged plates, all right? And that's not enough. The force is way too weak between two charged plates. So remember, as we rephrase or refresh, the bend I'm tripping. In the previous video, we talked about how two massive black holes create ripples in space-time, right? Supermassive black holes. So mass and energy equivalence, mass of a black up to a sun exploding into a supernova, creating two tunnels or multiple tunnels in space-time, which is theoretically a black hole that will crush you, and now a survivable wormhole, theoretically, which is just this exacerbated black hole, right? So these gravitational waves, right, ripples through space-time or ripples through the dimensions that we see, feel, and touch, which can be used for propulsion. Remember, it's just like the mass of the Earth inside on top of a Tempur-Pedic, yada, 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 and its impression, right? So all we gotta do is contract gravitational waves, contract space-time in front, expand it behind, again. That's just a quick overview. And everything that has mass in these four dimensions, line, right angle, cube, and everything that moves in between this cube on the inside of this cube, which is the four dimensions we see, point A, point B, is what? Can be ascribed to a potential gravity effect on space-time. Any mass that moves, it will have an effect on space-time, period. Now, without getting into anything too complex, because I ain't got time for that right now. You know what I'm saying? So, if you have a rotating mass, that is great. You got rotating mass that rotates fast enough. Why is something moving fast important? So if you have an object that moves fast, 24,500 miles per hour, away from the Earth, that's called the escape velocity of the Earth, which Apollo 11 used to escape the Earth to go to the moon, right? Escape the Earth's gravity well to go to the moon's gravity well, right? Or the Earth's impression on space-time, which is, imagine a Tempur-Pedic bending around a bowling ball, right? And escape that bend that keeps the Earth together as a mass, and everything that walks on top of it with the perception of up is up and down is down. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm thinking of that. So, imagine the rotational escape velocity. Now, that's theoretical pseudoscience, but it makes sense if you think about it. So if you make something go fast away from the Earth, faster than what holds the Earth together and the gravity that holds it together, and you transcribe it to a circle, a rotating mass, whether it be a top, a cylinder, a rotating, top or cylinder, or a whole two sections of a sphere. I'm thinking. Okay, so top, basically a top or cylinder. So you have two tops that rotate. So you can make them rotate fast enough, then what happens? So imagine a fan. This is frequency. Think about Nikola Tesla. Frequency. This is going off to a little fringe topics, but I'll bring it back. Fringe science, but I'll bring it back. Nikola Tesla said if you controlled energy, frequency, and vibration, you will control the basically do anything you want to do with nature. Basically, I'm paraphrasing. So if you have a rotating speed of 24,500 miles per hour, which is the Earth rotating, scaled down to a small circle diameter, that's about 800 RPM for escape velocity regarding towards a cylinder. I got this from Otis T. Carr. So everybody said, okay, Otis T. Carr is this conspiracy theory. His machine never worked, yada, yada, yada. But some say that he had a machine that actually did work, but the government just took that junk away from him, which they typically do back in the day when something's exotic, way ahead of its time, and it could corrupt the Earth's energy economies, I'm saying, of oil. But here's the thing. So why is this important? Rotating of anything important. Moving from point A to point B in space-time. So moving from point A to point B in space-time is in effect a gravitational wave, but it's so insignificant you can't measure. So if you have something in a fixed point that's rotating at the speed, at tremendous velocities, the faster it rotates, the more impressionable the gravitational wave, because the mass moving through that space-time is moving so fast, it's creating a ripple in space-time. Make sense? Okay. Maybe it's not. Okay, let me try to do this a better way. So, if you have, let's go back to electrostatics. So, if you have a cylinder and another cylinder, boom. So instead of charged plates, you have a cylinder. But what element is a pair of cylinders of different sizes? This is asymmetry. What element on the periodic table is more ionizable? Oh, fuck. I want to do this again. What is easily ionized? A metal on a periodic table that's easily ionized. It's liquid mercury. If you use a few droplets of liquid mercury, boom, 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 say 4 on the top, 2 on the bottom of this, let's say hypothetically, and you ionize it, put high voltage, and you rotate these masses to rotational escape velocity, or hot fast enough that it makes some type of impression on space-time, and you have an energy on the inside through high voltage, you feel me? High voltage, then what happens? Well, by putting voltage inside these cylinders, you create an effect called negative resistance, where, say these cylinders are steel, and you have neodymium magnets on the end, to create the high revolutions per minute that you need to create an electromagnetic vortex. Boom, boom. Well, all that means is it's rotating really fast. It's magnetic wind. You have a higher charge on the bottom, and proportional charges on the bottom. You have a weaker proportion of charges on the bottom, a higher proportion of charges top. I'm tripping. Top less charges, bottom more charges. because the electric field is so strong thanks to negative resistance happening in the cylinders as gas and droplets. And be careful not to put too much mercury in there, or like a thermometer, it will explode when it gets too hot. And, except liquid, it will be gas. So you just have to put just enough liquid mercury droplets in here to cause a counter rotation, and not cause a counter rotation, cause a plasma to form of high voltage, which is ionized ions and electrons. I'm saying, so boom, you create a measurable, stronger measurable force and direction you desire, or the smaller capacitor. Boom, right? I'm sorry, y'all, that took me so long. My brain is fried. I haven't done this in a while. So these two capacitors counter-rotate with a plasma-based substance in the middle, and the interior, a gaseous substance in the interior. They counter-rotate at tremendous speed and velocity, which is velocity change, which is speed and direction, which is a vector quantity, not a scalar one, which is just intensity. And what else? Okay, so boom. So these two counter-rotate. But why must they counter-rotate? It doesn't make sense. Why counter-rotate? They have to counter-rotate because one acts as a field and the other acts as the conflicting element. So a field and conflicting element. Imagine a rotor, a propeller plane in outer space. It's going nowhere. No propulsion because there's no air, no wind. The one acts as the wind and the other acts as the rotor. And both of them have magnetic fields. So this magnetic field acts as the wind, and this acts as the rotor, for example. And without one or the other counter-rotating, that effect will not occur. And it causes an imbalance. There's also simultaneously an electrostatic equilibrium imbalance. Excuse me. And all that means is there's a disproportion in the electromagnetic field, which favors a contracting area here, an expanding area here, and the direction of force going this way. Okay, so now, for Quan, our mind's blown. I hope your mind is blown. My mind is, it's early in the morning. It's like 3 or 2. Okay, so why is all this important? Why are you telling us this? How are we going to apply this? Where do we start? And the thing is I got these fancy ideas from, how do you apply this? Well, so I looked up and it said the Germans in World War II copied Nikola Tesla and stuff, and now stuff has gone crazy. I'm saying, so this is a BS Tesla coil, excuse my language. That's a Antigravity generator, and it said in some weird schematics that that in a German flying saucer, which is another conspiracy theory, that a Antigravity generator and a Tesla coil powered yada yada yada, something filled with Zerum, was it 525, which is an exotic form of liquid mercury, into 2 counter-rotating cylinders, and the thing just flied. No one understood what was going on, the physics behind it. And I just explained the physics behind it. But pretty much you need a high voltage power source to go to boost the voltage of inside these cylinders, which a Van de Graaff generator can go up to, say, maybe 100,000 volts or more, or 200,000 volts or more, and a Tesla coil 10 to 40,000 volts, or up to 1 million volts, depending on how big and how intensive you want it. So basically, both of these two are high voltage sources. You just got to arrange the power inputs that these two cylinders are asymmetrically attached, no, non-conductively attached, but asymmetrically situated, counter-rotating, and induced with high voltages to create an imbalance to where there's a more than measurable thrust, a highly strong propulsive thrust in the direction of the smaller capacitor. And this is how it can work in a vacuum of space anywhere. It's the power of lightning. Boom, boom. Look at my sound effects. So, now what? Now we know how the thing flies and how Plutonium Industries plans on using history and theoretical but scientifically confirmed conspiracy theories spoken in layman's terms to be easily understandable to most common audiences on how we're going to get the Plutonian space bus to ferry passengers to low Earth orbit, suborbital elevations and velocities and speeds, and use the necessary delta V's, all these scientific crazy terms to get where we need to go. You know what I'm saying? So the plan is for Plutonium Industries, we will use this decoded forbidden knowledge, and there's other stuff that I need to cover, but that's just the basics. You know what I'm saying? So step one, get people familiar with space and make it cheap and affordable and accessible. Maybe a space world in Texas or something that'll ferry people to suborbit and have the eyes open up. People start crying, get emotional. And then two, get the capital from Space World, or whoever wants to fund me, to mine helium-3 on the moon. Mining helium-3 on the moon, then we can use those funds for a moon colony simultaneously, a Mars colony, simultaneously mine the asteroid belt, simultaneously make it to Jupiter's moons, especially Jupiter's moon Europa, which has a liquid water ocean more extensive than the Earth's, 100 miles deep, surrounding the entire subsurface ice all over it. It's a global ocean, 100 miles deep, of a moon very slightly smaller than the Earth's moon. And it's, and believe it or not, its ice crust, or its ice shell is probably like sea ice, water ice, sea ice like on the Earth. It's